Good evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. We have an absolutely stacked show for you guys today. We are going to be talking about Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff's new promotion, Adam Copeland's not imminent, but soon retirement, and also who could possibly dethrone NXT champion Oba Femi. Plus, in case that wasn't enough, we're also jumping head first into this 100 men versus gorilla debate and making it about the sport of professional wrestling. Here joining me today, firstly, we have Mr. Clark Taylor. How are you today, Clark?
I'm stoked to be here as always. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's get into it, man. I mean, 100? I don't even think we need 100. I think we can be a little bit short of 100 to defeat a gorilla using pro wrestlers. But either way, I'm stoked. I've got my notes ready. I'm excited for this draft.
It's going to be a fun one, no doubt about it. I'm still just getting my voice back from last night because last night, of course, Arsenal were on. I'm going to pretend to forget about it. I'm going to have to bring it up before Archie brings it up. Because, Archie, I know what you're about to do. How are you today?
Well, it's a beautiful day, Ben. And it's funny you mentioned that last night. Because for a beautiful day, you need a beautiful shirt as well to wear it.
Oh, wow.
Come back when you actually, are in the Champions League, Archie.
Hang on. Coincidentally,
Don't
the same shirt, the same
competitions you're in.
Coincidentally, the same shirt we wore when we won our second Champions League trophy. So, yeah, how did last night go? I didn't watch it. I wasn't able to watch it. How did it go?
I could bring up the Invincibles every conversation, but I choose not to. We got numero one Superfly in the comments saying Gorillas versus Wrestlers is the most Vince Russo thing ever, and yet I want to see it at the same time. I would pay so much money for this kind of stuff. Now, before we get into this discussion, I have to do a disclaimer. Obviously, here at Wrestling Republic, we are against animal cruelty. This is all hypothetical and, an online meme debate type thing, right? We do have to put that out there for Twitch or whatever. Just to be clear, that's the disclaimer. And without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Archie, you're up first. Who are you taking?
I think, of course, I've got to go for the guy that's only just human in Bron Breakker. If there's anyone that's going to be able to break a gorilla in half with a spear, it's going to be that man.
Hell of a pick. I'm immediately going to go and pick somebody a little bit out of left field. I'm taking Terrible Ted. For those of you who haven't watched wrestling back in the day, Terrible Ted was a bear who actually competed in the ring. And of course, he's going to know how to face animals because he is one. I said wrestlers, not humans.
This is fair. It seems fair.
I did not realize that was
the wrestler.
Where we're going to go with this.
What a pick. I can't even take. I'm wearing a Smokey the Bear hat right now. Only you can prevent forest fires. But the best bear available is off the board. I'm rattled. Oh, man.
Who are you taking, Clark?
I'm going to go with Andre the Giant.
Oh.
No.
Oh, and you're up again. Who else are you taking?
My second pick to create a diversion. We need a little bit of speed on the squad. Give me Rey Mysterio Jr.
Oh, okay. Rey Mysterio, hell of a pick. Up next, I'm going to choose the only person on my team who's had experience wrestling monkeys, and that is the man who wrestled an orangutan for 15 minutes once. It didn't go too well. He lost, but at least maybe he learned from it. I'm taking Bruno Sammartino. Who are you taking, Archie?
I'm going to go to the man that might not be motivated too much to do this, judging by his tweet, but I'm going to go Brody King. I feel like this is complete. This feels completely different now to how I thought it was going to go.
Who else are you going to take, Archie?
Shout out to David Sheldon for this one. King Kong Bundy, I think. It's just in the name.
Oh,
Come on.
okay. Great shout. Great shout. No doubt about it. Up next, I'm going to take somebody who wrestled tigers. Again, experienced wrestling animals. That matters in this game. In fact, he lived with a tiger for a while as well. I'm taking Stu Hart. I mean, there's a reason why that man was so tough. Clark, what about you?
I'm going to go ahead and take the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Smart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was a good pick. And then I get back to back. Give me
Yeah,
an
you do.
Olympic gold medalist with a broken freaking neck. Give me Kurt Angle.
Oh, that is a hell of a pick. No doubt about it. I'm now actually going to take somebody who David Marge mentioned. I'm going to take Giant Gonzalez. We need a little bit of size in my team right now. It's a little bit, animal heavy. So I think, if we get the tallest wrestler basically of all time, we're in the right direction. Archie, what about you?
I'm going for the man that never loses. John Cena 2010. Gotta go Cena 2010.
Specific year. That's impressive.
And well, it's Cena wins lol, Clark. I don't know if you know that. And you went for the world's strongest man. I'm gonna go for the Big Show.
Okay.
Great
Okay.
pick.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, up next, I'm gonna go for. I've got to go for the bear man himself, Dave McKingy, the man who trained Terrible Ted, among other bears in professional wrestling. Listen, it's only sensible at that point.
It's completely fair. This is a tough one for me with the next pick. Give me, for this one, I need some more size. And if I'm going to get size, I'm thinking Yokozuna.
Oh, okay. Another one who
Nice,
somebody said in
yeah.
the comments as well. David Mard said, Numero 1 said, please add R-Truth into that Gorillas versus Wrestlers match. I want the Gorillas to be so confused. Who's your next pick, Clark?
My next pick is, I would imagine if you get snake bitten and you're a gorilla, it still affects you. So I'll take the Viper himself, Randy Orton.
Oh, I thought you were going Jake the Snake. I thought he was going to bring the snake.
You had it typed in
there.
already.
I was thinking there, but I'm going Orton.
Any specific year, Clark?
No, just Orton. What? With the current steroids. Whoops.
Oh, no, it's got to be 09. It's got to be 09, Orton. Come on.
No. I need yoked Orton.
Oh, gosh. Up next, I'm diving headfirst into the bear pool once again. Hercules, the wrestling bear. Big star on the UK scene for many, many years. He was the UK equivalent to Terrible Ted. And then afterwards, he became an actor and starred in a James Bond film as well. So he's, he's an A-lister. You'll bring some eyes to this fight. Big draw.
Totally fair.
I'm gonna go. My next two picks are two that were on NXT last night. I'm gonna go Obafemi and the guy that gave him a bit of praise last night, The Undertaker as well, the Dead Man. How can you can't kill the Dead Man? Come on.
Two good picks, two really good picks there, Arch.
That is undoubtedly two great picks. Up next, I'm looking for somebody now who can actually finish this fight, right? Because we got a lot of people who are going to, get in, get a bit of grappling going on, but I don't actually, trust them to finish it. Now, my pick for this would have been Braun Breaker, but Archie, you've taken him. So instead, I need somebody else with a killer spear. I'm going to go for the tribal chief. Put those ones up. Roman Reigns, I am taking. What about you, Clark?
I like that one. I am thankful that you didn't take him because I was hoping to save him for later. I also almost blew it on the snake thing the last time. Give me Jake the Snake Roberts. No doubt about it. With the snake I'm thinking Python over Cobra this time, though, because we all know the Cobra was devenomized. The Python thing can squeeze you. It's as strong as anything. So I will take Jake the Snake in that spot. And then next, I think we need more speed on my squad. So I'm going to add in, as a diversion, I'm going to give the people what they want. Give me R-Truth.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Add in a little bit of comedy into that team.
Mhm.
Right. Up next, I'm second guessing saying this, but screw it. I think that there is realistically going to be somebody who's going to be need to be volunteered as tribute at the start of this, right? For the wrestlers to actually get in, we need a jobber. Okay? So I want the best jobber of all time. I want James Ellsworth, right?
Ellsworth, great pick.
He's a bit of a he's not going to be there for long.
Sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Me, I'm gonna go. I've got to go for a werewolf. We're gonna go Jacob Fatu, and
Okay.
and I think I'm gonna go for a bit of height as well in Omos as well.
Oh, that's a hell of a pick. Hell of a pick, no doubt about it. Up next, I'm going to pick Will Ospreay just so it can be a 5-star match.
If it's in the Tokyo Dome, it'll get up to
I was
6 or
considering
7.
Kenny, but it's not in Japan, I don't think so.
Oh man. I'm gonna take the toughest guy to ever walk the planet. Give me Mang.
Who?
Haku Mang.
Oh.
That's easy money for. Actually, I think my team's pretty stacked now. I might call it for mine.
You're good. Clark's done.
I'm sure
Okay.
Mang just wins it.
He's
Actually, I
called it too
lied.
early.
Give
He's
me
called it too
Vader.
early. Vader. Oh, that's a good shout. That's a great shout.
Oh, you got him before I did. Fair play.
Sorry. Now I might be done.
Up next, it's a purely selfish pick for me. I just want him to be able to, finally prove that these dumb kicks actually don't do anything, and he's going to pay the price for it. Orange Cassidy.
Woof.
Archie?
I'm gonna go for Ilya Dragunov. I think next we need to have a bit of determination in the team, and I think MJF as well. I think maybe we can have somebody that might be able to make the gorilla cry a bit, and then somebody else can capitalize on
No
that.
way. He'd be gone.
Just give him a mic, and then the gorilla might start crying by whatever he says, and then somebody else can capitalize on it.
He'll try and team up with a gorilla. He'll try and go team gorilla just to save himself. Up next, I'm gonna get a legitimate tough guy back on the team as well, right? We got too many jokers now. Inoki. Give me Antonio Inoki.
That's a good one.
Nice,
Okay, this is actually my final pick.
Okay.
Every good team needs a head coach. Give me Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Nice.
To X's and O's, dial this up
Mhm.
so we can really break down this gorilla.
Fair enough. So you're done. You're locked in, yeah, Clark?
I'm locked in.
Locked in. I'm not done quite yet. Up next, I'm going to take somebody who just can't die. We found this out. He can't die. He won't die. He can take so much pain and still survive. He's somehow immune to injuries as well, and that's Darby Allin. A legitimate pick, which, he might be a small guy, but he's going to surprise you. He's going to survive for a while.
You say he can't die, Ben, but I'm going to say the real Terminator of wrestling, and that's Kenny Omega. Out to Kenny. I think you're right, is that we might need a jobber. So unfortunately, we're going to have to throw Akira Tozawa at the gorilla to be a bit of a distraction.
You took him before I did, while I was about to take him in the next one, because unfortunately, James Ellsworth does not have much meat on the bone. So I think he is going to be gobbled up quite quickly. So as a result, I'm actually going to need to go back into the jobber pool once again. And I'm going to need to pick out somebody who Numero 1 Superfly suggested. And that is Ricky, who, as we found out recently, apparently watches Wrestling Republic. Shout out, Ricky.
Also, shout out Ricky.
But we're feeding you to the gorilla. Sorry, mate.
Sorry. It's been a pleasure.
Up next, I'm going to take Suzuki. He's a tough son of a bee. So, yeah.
Son of a beast thing.
I've got one more, and that's going to be Konosuke Takeshita. And that's going to be my pick. That's going to be my squad to hopefully beat the gorilla. Even though gorilla can crush someone's skull with a punch, but
That's just to try and win the gorilla over with his good looks, really. He comes in and the gorilla suddenly just can't believe it anymore. I don't know if any of you guys have seen what's her name? Oh, I forgot her name. The one who was teaming with Mina Shirakawa. She did an interview and she was like, just all the women go into his locker
Oh
room
yeah, I saw
and just go
that,
nuts
yeah.
about him.
Yeah, I
And
know,
it
I
was like,
saw
that's the
that.
wildest thing to say in an
Yeah.
interview ever, but fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm
Carl
going to
Fletcher
finish
loves him as
things.
well, so
Yeah, I'm going to finish things off with a similar thought to Clark. Somebody who's very smart, very clever, can put together a game plan, and that's going to be Chad Gable. I
Nice.
wanted Kurt Angle, but obviously he was taken much, much earlier. But then we have it, guys. Our dream teams. Let us know in the comments whose team do you reckon would beat a gorilla, if any of them.
I think your real team is -2, Ben, with Ricky and James House.
That's fine though. 2 sacrifices early. You wear the gorilla out.
That's
Get him on the
true.
ropes. Get him on the ropes. Get him winded.
That's true. Surprised nobody went Gunther, actually. That was another one. I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about. He can slap the hell up.
How did none of us go Gunther? The guy does a bear hug as well.
I actually
Oh my
I
gosh.
fear what would happen if Gunther tried to chop a gorilla.
Mm.
That's the problem. You'd have to have the gorilla already prone.
Yeah, that's true. Gunther can just come. Maybe I should have put Gunther in for MJF.
That would just
well,
make the
we're
gorilla
it's squad
matter.
now. Sorry, Max.
Fernando, I took
Oh,
Andre
gosh.
first.
Yeah, Andre. Oh, that was a fantastic.
Yeah,
pick
I
out
was
of the
gonna
gate.
pick Andre. I had to go Omos in the end for a bit of height.
There is the real fear though on my team, right? That if the bear man goes, they could just all go out of the window.
Well, dude,
But
if
if
you
the
run
bear
out of
man
bears,
goes,
Up
then we lost control of the bears.
up until Roman Reigns, I just your lineup was just, I did not know what was going on.
if you lose the bears, your team's in trouble, Ben.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I got a Nokin Suzuki there,
Well,
just as a last ditch
at least-
effort.
But
least
you
you'll get a
need both
5-star match
bears
out
to
of
be
it.
focused that night.
At least you'll get.
They
5-star
have to be
match
on
out
their
of
A
it.
game.
Yeah, you need both bears to bring their very best.
We need the pre-Hollywood Hercules the Wrestling Bear. We don't want the part-timer version.
Right. Right.
I can't tell if that was the best or worst segment in the history of the Daily, but
Up
it's
there.
one or the other.
Maybe in both categories.
But now let's move on. Great. What's happened? Oh,
Where have we gone?
I
Oh, there
love
we are.
StreamYard. It's having a great week. Right. Up next,
Oh.
let's talk about Hogan and Bischoff because they've gone into
Yay.
business for themselves, but this time it's actually to create a new business. Clark, can you explain this new Real American Freestyle Wrestling promotion to us?
Yeah, I love freestyle wrestling as much as anybody, and I think it's really cool how viewership wise, the NCAA championships this year were bigger than they've ever been in the Olympics. Everyone was really focused on the wrestling as well. I think it's a really cool thing for it to be Hogan and Bischoff to start something like this. It's a little tough for me, but this is essentially just a collegiate American style freestyle wrestling league. We've got Ben Askren already signed, multi-time champion. Unfortunately, went to Mizzou. Woof. But at the same time, it's going to be a talented roster. It's cool. They're going to have theatrics and tell you the backstories of the guys, a la professional wrestling. It's essentially professional amateur wrestling, and it's arguably the first of its kind on this scale. I don't know if Hogan and Bischoff are the exact two to run this puppy. At least that's the way that I look at it. But at the same time, as a fan of collegiate wrestling and that style and everything, I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yeah, it is going to be exciting, no doubt about it. And I do wonder if they're going to try and give it more of a pro wrestling twist almost to try and get more eyes from it from a promotional standpoint.
That is what I think they are going to do. One thing that I do find interesting about it, though, is a lot of these names that have become popular via social media and via more coverage of like the NCAA championships, your Gable Stevensons, right? Like there's tons of names like that, Jordan Burroughs, guys like that. If they do want to compete in the Olympics, I wonder if it will actually affect them if they're being paid to do this one. I have not answered that question yet.
Oh, that would be fascinating. Either way, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Gable Steveson inspired this promotion as well.
Right.
That's what he said. Hogan went to see Gable. I think it was when Gable lost, I believe, or
Right.
something. and it inspired the promotion seeing that. Fernando says these two are so tone deaf, nobody wants anything to do with having to do with Hogan at this point in
Ain't
time.
that the truth?
I mean, yeah, fair enough. David Mard says it sounds cool. Numero one liked the gorilla segment, and so did Fernando. That's good news at least. But Numero one says I 100% expect Hogan to come out in that new promotion, and fans just boo him in general, regardless of what he says.
My hope would be that he's just behind the scenes, because it is cool for freestyle wrestling, right? This is something we haven't had. You know, they feature ADCC over on the UFC Fight Pass platform and whatnot, and the submission grappling stuff, and you see UFC fighters and whatnot be a part of it. So I do think it's cool for traditional grappling like this to be featured on a larger stage. The Hogan name tied to it, though, I'm in agreement on.
I mean, Hogan and Bischoff together as well. It doesn't fill you with the most hope. But of course, there is the Izzy, what's his name? Martinez?
Izzy Martinez, who's
Yeah.
famous wrestling coach, long time, and as good as anybody. His involvement is awesome. I mean, I'm going to give it a shot, no doubt, right?
He's going to have to carry this from a business perspective, I'll tell you that much.
I think so.
And
I think even booking.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, our Bischoff,
is
Bischoff just there to be the general manager and Hogan there just to be the face?
I don't know if Hogan or Bischoff would understand like matchups stylistically and whatnot in a way that Izzy would. Right?
I don't really know
freestyle.
I'm going to be honest.
Neither one's a freestyle wrestler themselves.
Clark, do you have any idea why Bischoff is actually involved in this specifically?
Well, I do think he actually truly enjoys combat sports, given his combat karate background and everything. I think that's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I do believe that's a big factor here when it comes to Bischoff, and it's like he kind of wanted something new to do, new to chase. He was very interested during the NCAA championships this year for wrestling were the most eyeballs we've seen on that event, arguably ever. I don't have the exact statistics, but this year was just gigantic across all weight classes. It got great viewership on ESPN and everything. So
it's non-existent, sure. I mean, Archie can vouch for this as well. Like amateur wrestling just isn't really a
so
thing.
Interesting though. They're very, very rock solid British amateur wrestlers. It's really interesting. Like if you look, you guys compete in the Olympics. I wouldn't say necessarily near the top countries, but there are guys that
somebody was born in England and went to America and somehow come up through the ranks.
Most of the British, most of them end up going to college in the US.
But talking about things which are coming up through the ranks, Clark, I want you to tell us a little bit about ITZY and what's going on over there right now.
Absolutely. We've got all kinds of good stuff. Go ahead and download the ITZY app on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Head to the upcoming stream section. Me, Takes, Big Ant, you, all kinds of people. We're on basically every weekend. And the best part is you can argue with us about whatever you'd like as long as you've got a cell phone with a microphone. You don't even have to turn your camera on if you don't want to. It's an absolute blast. And we've got all kinds of new fun things coming. Like you can throw tomatoes at us animations wise. We've got all kinds of great, cool new animations on the way. You could throw eggs in my face if you don't like what I'm saying about Cody, even if you're not necessarily on the stream speaking with us. But it's an absolutely brilliant thing. Download the ITZY app, and the best part about it, it's absolutely free.
Always great to hear. The best price is free. Not even $3.99. Absolutely free. But up next, let's talk a little bit about Adam Copeland, because I've lost where it was he did the interview. I will say it in a second after I pass it to Archie. But Adam Copeland has opened up about his future in wrestling. He said he's currently 51. His contract expires when he's 53. And honestly, he thinks that's when he's going to hang up the boots. He thinks that is when he's going to retire. But the biggest thing about this was he said nowadays when he has a wrestling match, he can't walk normally for a week after it. That's just insane, isn't it, Archie?
It's really worrying when I heard that, I was really shocked, because it is very worrying to hear that especially about somebody that's a legend of this business. One of the best heels that I think WWE has seen, maybe wrestling has seen, in terms of his rivalry with John Cena, put both of them on the map. And he was somebody that had this taken away from him too early, and now he's been able to get it back. But to hear that, it's very, very tough to hear, because I'm sure, like, I know he said retire in 2 years, and I'm sure his doctors know more. Sure, he knows more. But if he's not been able to walk, if he's struggling to walk for a week after one of his matches, that just, to me, screams like 2 years is too much. And he's, again, he'll know more about this than me. As I'm not pretending to know more, but just going off that information, like, that seems like 2 years is too much to me. And I know for a fact that when you get this taken away from you and you've miraculously been able to get it back, like Adam Copeland or Edge has been able to, then it'll probably be tough to let it go. But it was really shocking to hear that, and it's not what you want to hear, especially about somebody that you admire in wrestling. Edge is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I'll always kind of remember that Royal Rumble return. It's one that kind of holds dearly in my heart, especially as I literally just went to the toilet literally just before it happened. So as fate would have it, I literally came back just in time for Edge to return.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But no, he's done so much for this business, and for me as a fan as well. I just hope that in the coming that 2 years isn't too much, and he's able to still go at the level that he's at for the next 2 years. I'm sure he is, as if his doctors, he's getting advice from his doctors and from himself. But it is shocking to hear that, and it is a bit upsetting to hear something like that, especially about someone that you've admired in wrestling for so long, for sure.
No, there's no doubt about it. And again, like, it does bring up the question, to me at least, like you said, his doctors will know more. But he is like wrestling still on like having like random matches and dynamites and collisions and stuff like that. And I'm listen, I know there is some stigma around being a part-timer who only does pay-per-view matches.
Yeah.
But I think he's earned that right now.
Yeah, he has. And this news actually now, whenever I see an Edge match, I feel like I'm going to be watching it differently. I feel like I'm going to be watching it like, this guy's not going to be struggling for a week after this. Is this match really worth him doing? You know what I mean? It's tough that I appreciate him coming out and being honest like this, but it is tough to hear about a comment like that.
No doubt about it.
The only caveat that I have to that is it's sometimes when you do the part-time thing, it's actually even harder on your body because your body's not used to the amount of shock.
Right. Okay.
So like Calvin Johnson used to talk about, like, when the Detroit Lions at the end of his career, because his body was so beat up, he was able to perform on Sundays. They would allow him to do limited practice early in the week, right? The way the NFL schedule works. You play on Sunday or Monday, and you know what I mean? You practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You do walkthroughs. You kind of get the day off Saturday, basically, and then you play. And they would allow him to be more limited because they knew what he was capable of on Sundays. But he said that the lack of reps at times would make him stiffer and tighter and make it actually hurt more.
Right. Okay.
So that is another factor there too. It's not necessarily a solvable problem, right? Like it's his body's his body. It's going to tell him when it's done. But as long as he's willing to tough out the results of whatever the matches are, I think that's one of those things that, like, I'm not going to be uncomfortable watching an Edge match because he's gone through enough stuff doctors wise. Right. There's a reason he's cleared.
Yeah, that's true as well.
I'm a massive Edge fan, so the last thing I want to see him is retire again. But I'm sure he knows what he's doing. I just hope he knows what he's doing, because it was a shocking comment to hear. I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No doubt about it. Fernando says Cope has meant a lot to the industry of wrestling, and we will miss him when he's gone. No doubt about that. Numero 1 says, I will miss Cope when he eventually retires. And Fernando says, it's a real shame we are not getting Edge versus Cena one last time. It would have been fantastic. It is, but what I will say is that opportunity will now go to probably a younger star to go up against Cena. So, you know, it could help a younger talent, which
of course.
honestly, I think I do prefer. Orton is the one match I want to see them run back in this.
Yeah.
I can't believe you say that. You
Well, it's
don't
just
want
because
CM Punk. You don't want CM Punk.
no, listen, if there's going to be another, CM Punk is the guy. But I'd rather them not touch the CM Punk stuff, yeah, and I'd certainly rather them not touch the AJ Styles stuff.
They're wrestling soulmates, those two, Cena and Punk. That's the thing.
That's the thing. When I said I definitely
thought
don't
Cena
want to
and
see
Edge were.
Punk versus Cena, it was before the heel turn too. The heel turn
Yeah.
now, there is something they could tell with that, but even still, I wouldn't say it's necessary. But now I wouldn't be against it. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Right. Up next, let's talk about Obafemi. Of course, the current NXT champion. He has been massively dominant as of late, and it's being a big talking point in the wrestling industry. Who will dethrone him? If anyone, will he do an Oscar and just vacate the championship when it's time to be called up? Archie, you're the NXT reviewer here at Wrestling Republic, and I want to get your thoughts out of the gates on this one.
So I know exactly who I want to dethrone Obafemi. I've mentioned it in my reviews often. I've mentioned it in Wrestling Republic's group chats often. I think it should be who I see as could be the modern day Jeff Hardy in Javon Evans. I think Javon's the perfect guy to dethrone Oba. His story about his rise to the top of NXT has been one that's been told for since he's really debuted in NXT now. We hear it so often whenever he's in an NXT championship match. They're always saying, come on, Javon, do it for your grandmother. And Javon's story is just such a beautiful and real and grounded story that, to me, he's the perfect underdog to dethrone the ruler in Obafemi, to dethrone a giant like Obafemi. But I also think that this should actually happen. I did have in my mind that maybe it should happen at Stand and Deliver next year. Maybe it should happen a bit sooner than that, honestly, because I feel like I really want to see Obafemi take the next step up to the main roster now, because there's not really too much else for him to do other than maybe that Trick Williams singles match. I don't think there's really too much else for Obafemi to do in NXT, and he doesn't need to have a dominant run. Him losing to someone like Javon, who's an underdog, who's a beloved underdog, that won't hurt him at all. It's a story they've been telling for a while. And I just think more than anything, at least I think maybe by the summer, we should be thinking about Obafemi losing the NXT title and calling him up and having him have these dream matches against the likes of Bron Breakker, Jacob Fatu, Gunther. Those kind of guys. But no, Javon Evans to me is a perfect guy for this. As I said, he's the modern day Jeff Hardy, which some people might kind of laugh at. But if you watch this kid on NXT, and he's just a few years younger than me, so I can say kid. If you watch him on NXT, like, what I love about Javon Evans is that every time he goes out there, it seems like his aim is to make sure wrestling fans leave with a memory that they've never seen before, and a memory that they'll never forget. And that's what I love about him. He's always trying to be innovative in his matches, and he deserves an NXT championship run for that, I think.
That is a great shout, no doubt about it. And you mentioned his age, and that is the thing about Javon. He is, I think he's only just, yesterday he turned 21, which is just nuts. But I mean, what's he?
Okay, so I'm only just older than him. That's what
but the even crazier part about it is this guy has been wrestling, I think, for 8 years now. He made his debut in 2018 when he was only 13. That is absolutely insane. Debuting at 13, 8 years experience at 21.
A lot of people say that he's reminiscent of a young Will Ospreay, but I don't see him as reminiscent of Will Ospreay. I think Javon Evans is going to be one of those guys that we're going to be saying to future guys, saying this guy's reminiscent of a young Javon Evans. I feel like that's his level.
I think everybody though gets called the next something until they become
that's fair enough.
exceed that something. Because Will Ospreay, everybody said he was the next AJ Styles. That's what people were saying for years and years and years.
That's true.
Until they had that match they had in Rev Pro, and then from there, all of it went up. But what about you, Clark? Because obviously you cover NXT weekly on NXT Off the Air immediately following the show on the Wrestling Republic YouTube channel. Who do you think should dethrone Obafemi?
So there's no doubt in my mind the answer is Javon Evans, 100%. Archie spot on. We're all spot on there. It's Javon Evans. I hear where he's coming from when it comes to Jeff Hardy, but I see a little bit different. Jeff Hardy was a little bit more crash and burn a la RVD, similar style there. I see the best to ever lace up a pair of boots, HBK and Javon Evans.
Wow. Yeah.
Massive shout.
Yeah.
The grace that he has in the ring flying the way he does. He's got all the Jeff Hardy. He's got all the Ospreay, but he's got the HBK, the spatial awareness it takes to be able to sell and do the moves that he's capable of. HBK is the only name I can think of. It's Javon Evans, 100% in my eyes. The only other one I could even think of on the roster is Tony D does have one over on Oba. And given this storyline, Tony D has one over. So just for continuity here, because Archie obviously nailed it when it comes to Javon, Tony D, I think, would be an interesting choice, because a Javon Tony D long-term story could be really fun too on the back end of that. And that could send Oba to the main roster, something like that. Because then maybe you can bring that back around later with Tony D and Oba. Either way, it's not going to matter. Javon Evans is going to win the NXT title and then all the main roster titles whenever they pull the trigger on that. That's going to happen. Whether it's over Obafemi or not, I'm not 100% sure, but that's the most logical, obvious pick by miles.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do agree with both of you, right? I mean, we got David Marge in the comments saying Javon did a huge spot. I May Beat says he's bouncy, no doubt about it.
He's bouncy.
Fernando says Javon will dethrone Obafemi in a huge upset. I May Beats is agreeing, saying Javon. And Numero One Superfly says, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but the person that should dethrone Obafemi and make it a title unification match is Joe Hendry, the first ever TNA and WWE champion.
It could be interesting. That could be fun. I think Joe Hendry needs to make me a bit more excited for him to be on NXT TV. I'm kind of getting over him a bit at the minute, but
I dig Joe Hendry, but I'll say this: it'd be hard for me to believe him beating Oba with a choke slam.
Yeah,
no, you're right. You're right.
You gotta figure that out at some point.
Yeah. I just one thing I want to say about Javon Evans is we talk about how great he is in the ring, but I absolutely love the way that he cuts promos, because he's just got such a natural feel to the way he cuts promos. Like it's not, it doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel put on. The way he cuts promos just feels so natural, and that's why I think a lot of fans have kind of gravitated to his story so early on in his career. But yeah, no, Joe Hendry's another interesting one, but I like Clark said, the standing ovation, it's going to be tough to pull off on.
I can't see. I don't think it would be believable enough. I will say that. But I mean, listen, I do agree with both of you. I think if it's going to be somebody, it should be Javon. He's young. The sky's the limit for him. And I mean, we've seen Bron Breakker come through NXT. He's now on the main roster. He's now going to be a big star. We're now seeing Obafemi do the same thing. For Javon to be that next younger guy, I mean, that's three guys who are going to be there for the next 2 decades in WWE. And their feuds may only be starting in NXT, but they can continue on the main roster and at WrestleManias. And also, I always forget how tall Javon is as well.
He's
how tall is
6'3".
Is he?
6'1", I believe. He can dunk.
But I didn't realize that. I didn't
realize
because of he's obviously skinny. He's looks like 5'7", 5'8". When he does put on that size, which he's going to do as he gets a bit older and stuff, more muscle and all that, he is honestly going to look like an absolute superstar. No doubt about it.
We're talking about.
I will say, I missed one more name I mentioned to throw out there. He's not in NXT now. He's on the main roster, but hasn't had much to do of late. I think Bronson Reed would be a cool one. if you had Bronson
That'd be
Reed do an
quite
NXT run
interesting.
because he never held that title. I think he could hold it
but what's
really
the
well
point in sending him
But then-
back to NXT?
To me,
because he's not doing anything on the main roster right now. And I just think I'm not trying to discount him.
no,
We've seen other people go down and come back up successfully really well.
No, we haven't.
I
Yeah, we
think
have.
uh,
Finn
No, we
Balor?
haven't.
Finn Balor?
But well, no, that was not successful. He went up in
Well,
the exact
successful
same
second
position he
run.
went down in.
well, I
He
guess.
went
But then-
straight
but here
back
we-
into the
but
same place
he-
on the card.
Maybe.
Here's the thing about Bronson Reed is I feel like Bronson Reed is another future main eventer that we're talking about. I feel like he's obviously got a massive. Oh, don't like that face, Ben.
I'm sorry, I don't think
I
he's.
do.
I like him a
actually
lot.
did.
I don't think they see him as
The-
anything.
the-
I mean, the guy's about to turn 37 years old as well,
Oh
and
my
he has been
God.
wrestling. No, but he has
Oh,
been
no.
wrestling since his early 20s.
I am
He's-
gonna give you
His bump
the
card, he's
funniest
going.
call on your
He's got a
30th
lot of bumps
birthday.
on that bump card.
I'm gonna
Look,
give you the greatest retirement call when you turn 30. You ready to hang him up? No time left,
I'm not
buddy.
saying that, but I'm saying you can't say somebody's a future main eventer.
He is absolutely
Like they-
because he's literally when he gets back
37
from
is
his
not that
injury.
old.
When he gets back from his injury, he's on literally the edge of being a main eventer. But he was on the
Yeah,
edge of
for
being a main.
me, pay-per-views having a title match, sure. But do I think he's
No.
going to be a world champion? No.
Oh, come on, he's
Oh,
100% got world champion material. Yes, he does.
I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential for it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I don't think they're going to make him one.
Wait till your 40th birthday,
he can go for maybe the next 4 or 5 years, potentially even more.
But why on
right?
earth would you build a star in the main event to only be able to make money off them for a few years? It makes no
But you
sense.
because you can do both
You might
simultaneously.
as well do it with a younger star and then profit off them for the next 15
I
years.
will
But
be
you can do it
53 years
simultaneously.
old.
How many
Most
hours? How many
stars.
hours do they have on their TV program? How many hours? We're talking about 3 hours on SmackDown every.
Well,
blooming
not anymore.
spring.
Go
Yeah, but every
to-
blooming spring. Every
I
spring.
don't
they're gonna-
know.
Well,
I don't
I'm
know if they're bringing that back or not.
I will be 53 years old at Ben's 40th birthday party, and I'll be the EST of that party.
Right, let me search up Bronson Reed retirement.
I just.
Yes, he's saying the latest he's going to retire is 45, right?
When
So
was-
we have
when was-
7 years.
Yeah,
It is not worth it
7
making
years.
this guy a
That's
main
a
event
long
star.
time.
That's more
That's
than I
over
thought.
half a decade.
Yeah, but you're
That's
not going
more
to
than
make
I
money
thought.
off him. Like, it'll
course
take
you
you 3
are.
years to actually make this guy profitable as a
course-
main
look
eventer,
at
right? I'm not
how-
talking up showing up a mid-carder and a lower main eventer, but not a world champion.
How old is Karrion Kross right now, Ben? He's selling out his shirts on WWE Shop. And how old is he?
There's always
You get late
there's always
bloomers in
exceptions to the
wrestling.
rule, but Karrion Kross, I don't
Yeah,
think he's going to be a world
exact-
champion.
He tsunami'd the guy
No,
that
I don't
won
think so either,
the
but
main
Bron-
event of night one in WrestleMania so many times. He bled
Exactly.
from his tummy out of his mouth not that long ago.
Yeah.
People love
He's-
to bring up DDP.
DDP.
They love to do
Batista.
it.
I thought you were
Well, they love to do it, but WWE only made money off Batista for a few years. DDP blatantly didn't. No, they only,
If
they
you're-
only made
yeah, but
money
if you're
off him
making-
as a
yeah, but
main
then-
eventer for a few years
You-
before he jumped out the company
You
And
can
they
make-
brought him back as a main eventer.
You can
for like
still
one
you can
program.
no, but you
Didn't
can
work.
make it doesn't matter how long if you're making money, you're making money off someone for 7 years is pretty good going.
Yeah, but 7 years is great, but they have to establish him as a main eventer. They have to
The
make him that
Boogeyman-
They are
star.
literally on the edge of that. They are on
The
the edge of
Boogeyman
that.
was a
If
45-year-old
you, go
rookie.
down, if you go down the street, no, Boogeyman wasn't a main eventer. I'm not on about, by the way,
No,
guys,
I
I'm
wasn't
on
saying that.
about. I'm not on about somebody who's on like a B pay-per-view getting title shots again. I'm on
No,
about
I'm
somebody
not
who's,
either.
the face of the company. You cannot
Right.
be that guy
Well,
when you're
Right,
that
anyone
age.
can
okay,
say
I'm
so.
sorry,
Well,
there is a
okay,
cap
let me,
on
let
it.
me,
Potential
let me
world
throw
champion.
let me throw another name out there, right? We're talking about potentially WWE foreshadowing Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 42. Sami Zayn, if I go down the street and ask people who Sami Zayn is, I'm not sure many people
I know
know
a lot of
who he
people
is.
do because he's been there for so long now. Because he's
Well,
been
if
there,
I,
and his name has
well-
been around that for like a decade. In fact, literally a
Mm.
decade this year, he's been on the main
I'm
roster.
not-
So people
I'm
know
not.
his name.
He's
He's established.
if you went down to the street and asked 10 of 30 people who Sami Zayn is, I think maybe 10 at most will know him.
That's fantastic. That's
No,
fantastic.
not
for
even
a
that. No, it's
wrestler.
not. No, not if it's
It
the main
is.
event. No, because not if it's the face of the company.
John
It's
Cena
amazing.
is. They might, The only ones who, if you go down the street and ask everybody, the only ones that everyone will know is like John Cena and The Rocks, right? But if you want about somebody who's a real casual, somebody who watches WrestleMania every year, they probably don't even know Bronson Reed is yet. So for them to buy a show to see Bronson Reed, that's going to need to take quite a few years and quite a few WrestleManias,
Won't
right?
take a few years. Trust me, it will take a year at most. When he's back, it'll take a year at most.
He won't be a world
people
champion.
people have tsunami stuck in their heads. They'll have Wade Barrett screaming tsunami stuck in their heads.
He'll be a mid-card champion. He won't be a world champion. LA Knight, Bronson Reed, not going to be world champion. Sorry, guys.
Poor LA Knight.
And Bronson Reed's got a few year advantage there too.
He's winning when LA Knight wins Money in the Bank in Los Angeles. I'm going to be doing the biggest.
He's going to fail his cash in.
I'm going to be doing. No, he's not.
I just wanted to announce I'm going to start training tomorrow. I'm 33 now. I think I'll be a main eventer in my mid 40s.
No, Ben
They've got too many young stars and too little TV time.
They can do it simultaneously.
I got too much simultaneously. I think I can outthink them.
They can't.
It's like Survivor, outthink, outwit, outlast, right?
We'll see how it goes. Typically, I've been correct with this type of stuff, so we'll see how it ages. But with this type of stuff, who's going to be a world champion?
Whoa! We can't see how it ages. You hate aging.
I might have to say it can't be a world champion. Anyway, guys, on that note, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our show today. Thank you to Archie and to Clark for joining me here. We will. And usually when I say we will, I mean Wrestling Republic will. But in this case, literally us three will be back the same time, same place tomorrow to talk a little bit of AEW Dynamite. So we will see you guys then. Have a fantastic Wednesday and Thursday before we see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Peace.